Surely there are few better examples of the total misdirection of this hearing than the FAA. That's the Future Farmers of America. They have been challenged by Chairman Smith for taking a contribution from Syngenta, a company that supported them for decades but was acquired by a Chinese company. This is kind of nonprofit that around the country would say, help a student prepare a hog to win a ribbon at a county livestock show. But as usual, the real hog involved here is the Trump administration. No Republicans have voiced the slightest concern that the very same Syngenta contributed $250,000 to President Trump, as did another Chinese company to which he cozied up for his inaugural, giving them a full $1 million. This committee has completely ignored the most powerful, self-created tax-exempt organization in the country. That would be President Trump himself and the web of businesses that his family controls. Trump has famously bragged about how smart he is to avoid taxes, and of course, we know he was so smart that he did so in 10 separate years. No tax-exempt organization has been more vulnerable or more welcoming to malign foreign influence than Donald Trump. Unlike every modern president before him, he refused to divest his business interests or place them in a blind trust. Instead, he effectively erected a giant sign on himself, his family, and the White House: "We're open for business." In addition to cozying up directly with various Chinese companies, the Wall Street Journal, as has been noted, recently published an article, "Spy Sheik Bought Secret Stake in Trump Company." Known as the Spy Sheik, an Abu Dhabi citizen, invested $500 million, $500 million in Trump's World Liberty Financial. The Trump family got $187 million directly and immediately. Then the Trump regime just coincidentally lifted export controls on the selling of America's most advanced artificial chips. Tens of thousands of these chips have been authorized to be shipped to a UAE firm called G42. This is the same G42 that the recent, not Democratic, but Republican chairman of the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party warned, and I quote, "G42 presents risks to critical technology and export-controlled research." The chairman also noted that this was a company that developed dual-use technologies through its subsidiaries and materially supports the PRC military. Instead of safeguarding our most advanced AI technology, Trump has now authorized the sale of these chips to a firm with deep ties to the PRC and the Liberation Army. Of course, the Trump family got a 9-figure payday in return. This is part of a long and deeply troubled pattern of personal enrichment. Then there is also Mr. Zhao. He's the one that President Trump pardoned. He's being sued by the victims of the October 7th Hamas attacks, alleging that his company helped facilitate the transfer of hundreds of millions of dollars to Hamas. At the same time as he sought a pardon, he just coincidentally provided critical support to Trump's crypto venture. The tax-exempt organizations that my Republican colleagues have singled out here today do not wield that kind of presidential power. They can't pardon individuals accused of financing terrorism. They can't discard export controls and provide China the most advanced American AI chips. And they cannot subvert our democracy by selling off our national interests to the highest bidder, to become the biggest hog in the land. There are only a few of the many examples of Trump malfeasance. Now, the type of action that is being advanced here today was no doubt inspired by Vladimir Putin and Viktor Orban, two people that Trump clearly admires, their authoritarianism, because they have spent a good deal of time smearing nonprofits in their countries as foreign agents, stigmatizing them and muzzling them with free expression. It's also fitting and deeply troubling that one of today's witnesses has cited the No Kings rally as an example of the kind of misfeasance of which they complain. I spoke to thousands of my neighbors in Austin last October at one of hundreds of these events. It was an expression of democratic values, peaceful, not a threat to anyone. except those who insist on authoritarianism. In America, we do not punish critics, we do not crown kings, and we must not sell our democracy to the highest bidder. I yield back.
Thank you. I want to respond to the comment, since I was raised in Mr. Doggett's comments about the FFA. That's the first time FFA has been brought up, but FFA, Mr. Doggett, is a very, very important organization to myself. In fact, when you go down to my personal office, the very first thing that was ever hung on the wall is my framed FFA jacket, and it stands here today. It's an organization that so many members care about. It helps create the future agriculture leaders of tomorrow. But when that organization's largest funder is Syngenta, which is connected to the CCP, we do not need to allow our kids to be infiltrated by the Chinese propaganda. And so I want to correct the record for that. Mr. Kelly, you're recognized.
Well, will the gentleman yield on that?
You're not recognized, Mr. Kelly.
Will the gentleman yield for unanimous consent to
no.
enter the letter that you wrote into the record? Just unanimous consent to put your letter.
I would love that letter into the record, because the American people know that the Chinese should not be indoctrinating our children in the FFA.
But it's
Mr.
okay
Kelly.
for Donald Trump to take $250,000 from them. You don't care about that.
Mr.